In 1896, Britain built a railway across East Africa. It moved copper, coffee, cotton, and gold. Almost every line led to the coast, not because of poor planning, but because that was the plan. Today, the tracks look different. Fiber instead of steel, data center instead of freight terminals, and in 2026, an African company switched on what it calls the continent's first AI factory, Cassava Technologies, powered by NVIDIA, built by African billionaire, expanding into Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, and Morocco. Last time, I asked a simple question. Who owns the infrastructure? But this time, I'll go one layer deeper, because owning the building isn't the same as owning what happened inside it. Think of AI economy as 4 layers stacked on top of each other. Layer 1, physical infrastructure. The buildings, the land, the cooling system, the fibers in the ground. Layer 2, compute. The chips themselves, the silicon that actually does the thinking. Layer 3, the models, the actual AI system people are using. The intelligent layers. And what I called the 4th layer, which is layer 4. Data. What trained this system? What they learned from? What they are used on. 4 layers. And here is the uncomfortable part. Only one of them doesn't mean you own the rest. Let's start with the good news. Layer 1 physical infrastructure is real and it is African. Cassava Technology, founded by Zimbabwean billionaire Strive Masiyiwa, built what it calls Africa's first NVIDIA-powered AI factory in South Africa. It's already expanding to Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, and Morocco. This is not a small claim. Before this, most African businesses had no choice but to rent computing power from several thousands of kilometers away from them. Now, some of that compute lives here. That's a genuine progress. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But look one layer down. The chips inside those data centers aren't Africans, they are NVIDIA. Cassava secured investment from the American chipmaker to help fund this expansion. The buildings are African, the silicon inside them is not. That is not necessarily a scandal. Most countries don't manufacture their own advanced chips, including most of Europe, but it matters for what comes next. Here is where it gets interesting. Cassava built its own platform to sit on top of all this infrastructure. It's called CAIMEx, the Cassava AI Multimodal Exchange. The idea is simple. One login, access the world-leading AI model. But you ask, which model? OpenAI, Anthropic, Google? The infrastructure is African, the chips are American, and the actual intelligence, the layers everyone is really paying for, is still almost entirely foreign. Even Cassava's own AI leadership has said this out loud. Their AI CEO admitted that without platforms like this, African users were accessing global AI models without really creating value for all of us. That's not a critic saying that. That is the company that built the AI factory saying it about its own ecosystem. There is this layer nobody markets at all. Data. Every question asked, every document processed, every interaction run through these models generate data. Data train better models attract more users generate more data. It's a loop. And right now, most of that loop is closed somewhere else. African can host the query, but it doesn't yet host the loop. This is not a hopeless story, because this layer, the model layer, is exactly where some of the most interesting African-led work is happening. The Lelapa AI built Incuba LM, a multilingual model trained specifically on Swahili, Yoruba, Xhosa, Hausa, and Zulu. Six of Africa's largest mobile operators under a project called the G6 built the first open Swahili reasoning model on the continent. A Nigerian startup, Veta Oregon, launched its own model across 6 African countries, designed for African users from the ground up, not adapted from a Western system after the fact. These efforts are small compared to OpenAI or Google, but they are the only layer in this entire stack where ownership is actually shifting in Africa's direction. So, here is the real picture. Africa owns the building, Africa doesn't yet own what happened inside it. And history already told us how this story goes when only one layer is locally owned. The colonial railway was basically built on African soil too. That was never the layer that matters. What mattered was who decided where the tracks went and who captured the value moving along them. The AI factory is a real project, it's not nothing. But if the next decades of AI in Africa is measured by only how many data centers get built and not by how many models and how much data Africa actually owns and controls, then we will have built a beautiful new tracks for someone else to. The infrastructure question is closing. The ownership question is just getting started.